Hi, my name is Lydia Jones, and I'm here to inform my peers at Texas A&M that not all diabetes are the same. Prior to October 17th, 2017, I believed that all diabetes were the same and that there was no difference. Diabetes comes in two different forms that are most familiar, type 1 and type 2. And before October 17th, I wasn't aware that there were two different types that are managed in two different ways. Growing up, I heard people mention diabetes and watched friends and parents struggle with it daily, but I never knew the difference in the different types. First of all, there are two types, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is an autoimmune disease that you cannot prevent. It's sometimes hereditary and sometimes can be caused by an illness. Type 2 is a disease that can be caused by being overweight or not having a healthy lifestyle, not eating right, or not exercising as often as you should. And with October 17th was a day that I realized that there are many differences to the different types when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. After months of being sick and 4 doctors, I was told that I had type 1 diabetes. It went from lupus to thyroid problems to everything under the sun, and then I was told that I had leukemia. My oncologist, after many tests, figured out that it was not leukemia, thankfully, and it was type 1 diabetes, which still is very, very hard to live with. After checking my blood sugar constantly, they realized that this was the problem. I quickly was sent to classes, and I stayed there for a week in the hospital learning how to manage type 1 and learning the differences between type 1 and type 2. After going through these classes, learning how to manage diabetes, learning the differences, and learning how you can get each type, I quickly changed my assumptions and my beliefs and how I looked at diabetes. I learned what I would have to do to manage my diabetes and what I would have to do for the rest of my life. Type 1 diabetics are insulin dependent and needed to live because their pancreas has stopped producing. Their pancreas no longer produces insulin to support their body. Insulin helps keep a person's blood sugar from being so high. Type 1 diabetics' pancreas still produces some insulin, so they do not have to take as much as insulin as type 1 diabetics do. Type 1 diabetics must take insulin every time they eat carbs or carbohydrates, unlike type 2. Type 2 can eat more carbs, but it is not recommended. They do not have to take as much insulin for their carbs because their pancreas is still producing it. Type 2 diabetics can take medicine to help their pancreas produce insulin, unlike type 1, where their pancreas no longer works at all. Before being diagnosed, I had a lot of assumptions that, all diabetes are the same, people just don't take care of themselves, I will never get type 1 diabetes. But after getting really sick, my body decided to attack my pancreas, and it then no longer worked. And after going through this experience, I have learned the daily struggles of type 1 and type 2 and how people are very uneducated on the differences between the two. A lot of people should be educated so that the comments aren't made of why aren't you fat, and questions like that towards type 1 diabetics should never have been asked, because people should be educated. People are not educated on this subject, just like I was before I was ever diagnosed. Since learning the differences, I know how to properly manage both type 1 and type 2 and what it takes for the person. It is a lifetime struggle for both type 1 and type 2, no matter how old you are. But with getting type 1, my beliefs and assumptions have changed drastically on the differences between type 1 and type 2, and I believe with having more people educated on the topic, it'll help a lot of people, even in daily struggles, people understanding what's happening. And I believe that this has helped, being diagnosed has helped me learn so much more and to educate more people. And I believe that this is right to help educate more people on this so that they know the difference. With having type 1, I've learned so much, and I would like to share that with all of y'all, and hopefully that this helped y'all be a little bit more educated on the differences between type 1 and type 2. So thank you so much.